Hey friends, this video is to answer a question that many of my beginners ask. What the heck happened? Why isn't my square a square? So we're gonna go ahead and go over that. As you can see, I'm starting to turn into a triangle, and if I continue with the technique I'm using, it's only gonna get smaller and smaller as I go. It's not gonna have that nice square shape. My sides are definitely not straight. There's a couple of things that can cause that. Either you're missing your last or your first chain, or you might not be chaining for your turning chain. So here we are at the end of our work. And if you miss this last stitch here, you're not gonna have a square. It is gonna go into a triangle. And sometimes this yarn is very defined, that's why I used it for the video, but sometimes this stitch is kind of hard to see. So make sure you count. I started with 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm gonna have 10. Every row, I know that I'm gonna have 10. So it's tedious, but count because it does help. The other problem is when you go to turn and you forget to chain one, this is single crochet, so it's a chain one, you end up skipping this first stitch because it's kind of bunched up and you don't have that defined hole like you do over here. So often what happens is instead of going into this stitch here, we're going into this stitch. So you're going to be a stitch short, and it's also because you didn't add that turning chain, it's going to start to curve. So you can see on this side how we're starting to curve up. It doesn't lay right, whereas this side is nice and straight. And even if you do manage to hit that first stitch without the turning chain, over time it's gonna start to curl in. It doesn't look the same, so I'll show you what that looks like. So here we have, I'm in all the stitches aren't short, but without that turning chain, it's not gonna look the same. It's really easy in the beginning to skip your stitches. So if you skip your stitch, which I'm going to do right now, and when you get to the end, you don't count to make sure that you have enough stitches. I'm going to show you what that looks like. Just after one row of skipping one stitch, it's already bringing the work in quite a bit. So one stitch can really make a difference. Oh, and one more reason why your work might be curling in or it might start turning into a triangle is make sure you started with the same hook that you're using. So if I started with an I hook for this portion and I switched to a G hook, it is going to pull it in, it is going to become a triangle. So just make sure you're using the same hook that you started with. I hope this video helped you. Keep practicing and don't give up.